So the educational side, we already have over 800 people.
They all bought like lifetime everything.
Yeah,
Lifetime everything.
Lifetime everything. The thing with the education is that it's part of, we are giving back to the community and nobody else is doing this.
Okay.
So every time, thanks to the education efforts, we are traveling the world and teaching other people in Guatemala, in the Dominican Republic, in Spain, how the music business works.
Yeah.
Because in those places, our content is the university's content. So it's an impact project, right?
Okay.
So that is why the education, it would be very difficult for us to shut down. And the education without the software is not losing money. It's the software that actually is
Okay,
losing
so when we
money.
did this breakdown, you said the education loses money. So how much money does the education make if you don't have the software?
In reality, the education would be a break even.
Okay.
That whole money
So
that
this
we're
is
losing,
just zero.
yeah.
But you said this is 110,000 of losses. So that means the software costs you 150,000 a year and makes you 40.
Yes,
Okay.
you could say that.
So why can't we be done with the software?
So the software right now, there's not a specific reason we can't shut it down.
Okay.
We've seen traction on the B2B side of companies in the music industry that are interested in using our software because their clients, like big companies, now need a music contract software to manage their documents. So they play there for us,
So what, the
the
software?
software. But that is something that
How much does it cost you to develop the software?
right now it's burning $7,000 a month because we
Yeah.
cut every employee before.
How likely is it, do you think, that you're going to sell the software?
I'm not sure. And the other thing is the software actually right now, the way we are seeing it grow is by bundling services with software.
Well, it's obviously the services that the label needs.
Yes, yeah.
And then we just have like this other stuff that we did to BQ. Where do you want to go from here? What do you want to have happen?
The thing that we need is to be profitable.
Okay. That we can solve very easily. That's the good news.
Yeah,
But it will just be painful.
yeah.
But it's good pain.
Growing pains.
Yeah. Homegrown. If you lose a negative, it's a positive. So, okay. So in a world, hypothetically, where you just ended the software tomorrow, and then you have the education and services, what is required for you to maintain the education work-wise per week?
Right now, it's only one live stream with the community per month.
Or per month?
Yeah, that's
And
the only
that's
thing.
it?
That's it.
Okay, great. Can we just shut down the software?
We can do that.
Oh, that was easy. Okay, great. I love this for us. Okay, so we're gonna X this out. Let's use a red. Let's keep this, keep this on brand here. So this is a red. I'm gonna say that this isn't really a business. I'm gonna say this is a charity. You might even want to operate like a nonprofit because it doesn't make any profit anyways, and you're very kind of impact driven and whatnot. So then, what's the cost on the 131,000 in services?
The cost would be the associate who is delivering the services. Right now we have a rev share model,
Okay.
but we also have, because the services, for example, this year, we are already at 150K.
Okay. Great.
Because now, thanks to the education,
Yeah.
the next generation of artists are looking towards us to represent them in deal closing deals, right?
Okay.
So from there, we take a commission from the deal.
Okay.
So, for example, we've recently closed several deals that are above 500,000 for the artist,
Amazing.
and we take 5% from those.
Okay.
So
Do you guys act as an agent for that?
they're lawyers, representatives. Those are legal fees that the label will also pay us. That's the music industry is heavily commission based. So they get an advance,
Yeah.
and the label will
So the
fund
services,
5%.
the services strike again in making
Yeah.
Wonderful. So what I want to do is reimagine the business in the simplest format possible that's organized to make you money both short and long. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to draw it across the top here, and we're going to draw it in green because this is the money path. All right, it's the money path. You keep your YouTube where it is. Now what I want you to do is I want you to have 4 different places that you're going to embed call to action. right? So number one is at the 30% mark of every video, I want you to make a quick 30 seconds, like, hey, by the way, if you want us to help you out with your music business right now, just DM me on Instagram. I'd love to help you out. This is my handle. Okay. Number two is the description. All right, and you want to make sure that it's above the fold. So below this video right now, you'll probably see two links. One is for people who are trying to start business, they go to school, and if you already have a business and you're trying to scale and you're like $1 million a year or more, or, 500,000 a year or more, or $10 million a year or more, you can go to acquisition.com and schedule a call on our team and see if we can help you out. Right. So we have description. Now on top of that, pinned comment, so you can own that real estate. We also have your profile on YouTube, which gets traffic as well. And so those are 4 places that we can actually just put. And all of the CTAs here are DM me on Instagram. Why are we doing that? Because it already works. So I'm not trying to break it. All right, so now everything's going to Instagram. So instead of having the site, we don't even care about the site. Who cares? It doesn't matter. So we're going to DM me on Instagram. And then from there, what I want you to do is I want you to have them book a call without paying. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sell them. And what we're going to do is we're going to sell them a package. And we're going to sell it to the outcome. And you're going to say, hey, a lot of lawyers like to charge by the hour. The reason that we don't do that model is because it disincentivizes us. Our incentives are adverse to you. When we do it by the hour, we're incentivized to take as long as humanly possible. So it means it costs you more and it takes longer. That sucks. So what we're going to do is we're just going to charge you for the outcome, period, that's it. How's that sound?
Yeah. So we have to qualify them before they can go to the landing page because, there's 10 million artists on Spotify.
Sure.
And only 1,000 are professional, maybe 2,000 are professional. So do you see that the landing page...
But they all eat, they all have cars, they all have cell phones, they all pay mortgages and rent. You sell to a lot of up-and-comers and newcomers. They're going to use, just like you have been spending your education money that you make money on this dream that you have and losing money, we're going to have them do the same thing. They're going to take their job money and spend it on their dream. And hopefully they make it. But our goal isn't to try and figure out who's going to make it. Our job is to enable the opportunity. So the pre-qualification that I would have here is just income. Not like, and if you want, you can add their Spotify if you think that matters, the qualification. But fundamentally, okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah, because if I've worked with different artists that their Spotify, for example, I have a Spotify, I'm a guitar player, and I have 15,000 monthly listeners. But you wouldn't take that to determine whether I can pay you or not. So income...
But we are currently doing it that way.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
So what we're going to do is income, but we're going to do it through budget, authority, need time. That's the big 4, right? Yeah. So do you have the money? Is there somebody else who needs to be on the phone? Your grandmother, your dog, your agent, whatever. Need. So how important is this to you? And then timing. If we were to get you set up, how quickly would you want us to make this, get this trademark, or get this thing filed, right? You want to take the people who have the money and want to do it now and are able to make the decision. That's the qualification. Now, the big question is, what are we going to charge?
So you're asking me?
I'm going to give you a hint.
So
we'll play the Price is Right with what you're going to charge.
So the average ticket on the service side between the ongoing one time and the consultation is about $1,500. That's the average.
Okay, and a lot of that is from people just getting hourly charged?
It's basically the ongoing right now is about the lower ticket is about $1,000 per month.
Okay.
Because we are not charging them by the hour like a traditional lawyer. So, and this is $750 usually. So you can see that if you combine the other, they usually get to.
So this is what I want you to do. I would love you to charge $5,000. I feel like that's going to be a stretch for you emotionally. So how about we start at 3?
Yeah.
Can you do 5?
You can do 5.
Can you emotionally do 5?
Yeah. We're selling right now 3 months for $4,000. So.
Great. So, well then, shoot. Then we might as well do 6. 6 is the same as 5. Well, you know what? I'll meet you in the middle. $5,800.
Okay.
All right. This is what we're going to sell. That's your retainer. Right? So either we could sell, okay, this is a question for you. I would prefer to sell the outcome if it's just a clear outcome that they're going for. Or you can sell retainer, right? And just say like, it's $5,800, I'll draw from that. whatever.
Mhm.
I prefer outcome personally because I don't want you to be tied to hourly if you can afford not to. You good with that?
Yeah, we can move towards the outcome if it's the type of deal that we want to work with. Like for
And
example,
when I say outcome, I mean like the contracts
Yeah.
or that kind of thing. Like when it's the commission-based stuff, I want the 5,800 plus the percentage.
that's how we're doing it right
Good,
now.
good.
Okay.
We just need to raise the prices.
Okay.
And we also need to organize the business so that we're optimizing for this outcome, not 3 different outcomes and confusing everybody.
Right.
Okay. Now, if on the sales call, someone is unqualified, so this depends on your deal flow, but I'm assuming that you've got time to take calls.
Yeah, because my time is squared and I'm trying to understand this.
We don't have to. All right, this will work. When you have these people that are coming to call, what I want to add is before we have to sell the outcome, so this is kind of like on the call, right here, beforehand, we're going to add a VSL, okay? So you familiar with the VSL?
Yeah.
The sales letter? Do you have one right now?
For the course, yes.
Okay. So instead, I just need you to make one. 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, doesn't need to be long.
Mm-hmm.
Just explaining how you do things in your process.
Okay.
And the other people that you've worked with, some of the successful outcomes, reviews, things like that. And then also I'd set expectations, which is like, on this call, we're gonna have 1 or 2 outcomes. Either you want more personalized attention and we'll, give you the outcome that you want, or if you're like just starting out, we do have an education thing that if you can't afford our actual services, you can do it on your own.
I've done
Okay.
so.
Yeah. Now the thing is that you know what? I don't know if I like that. I'm deleting. I'm deleting that.
Okay.
So the VSL is going to sell the services. That's it. When you get on the call, if the person lied about their income or lied about their qualifications, which does happen, then you can immediately triage them and say, so triage is like split, and say, you know what, you can tell, like, this isn't going to be a services sale for $6,000 plus a percentage. Instead, it's going to be, a one-time education product sale, and then you can sell that. Now, right now you have this 500 and then 500. I'm going to wager that you don't need, like, if you're getting people to buy this on a checkout page, typically you can triple the price with a phone call of the same thing.
Okay.
So you can probably sell for $3,000. So if we're charging 6 here, I would say probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like 2 to 3K is the right price point for the education downside. But the only purpose of that is just so that you can maximize your time on the call, so that you can still kind of have something. And if you need to do a payment plan away, you know what I mean? That's at that point you're just trying to liquidate your time. But fundamentally, if we were to do this, let's walk through what it actually looks like now. You have your YouTube videos. Now all of the calls to action. The way I see my YouTube is I have 2,000 video, whatever, how many videos I have. And each of them are basically like little mini ads that are always running. And underneath of the video, the quality ad, I have my actual call to action. And I have this surface area across the whole internet that I can change and redirect all of that traffic from all of my videos to wherever I want. Then you can go back and on your biggest videos, go get pinned comments that, that have the same call to action, because some people just read the comments, change your profile, and then going forward in your videos, you put the CTA towards to DMing on Instagram. We're going to completely ignore the site, since that's where all of your sales are happening on DM. So let's just push everyone to DM. Now, how many followers per month are you getting?
I'm getting about 800 new followers.
Guess what? We're gonna do, okay, so this is thing 1. Thing 2 is that for every new follower you get, I want you to DM them and say, are you here for free content, or entertainment, whatever, entertainment, or you want help? And then every person who says they want help is a lead. So right now, if you think about that, you got 800 new leads a month that you put work. Realistically, you close 5% of those. I mean, it's 40 more sales a month. At 6K, there's 240. That's just from that, not including your existing audience, which we're now going to redirect everything to the most efficient monetization model. What stops you from doing this?
Nothing.
Well, shit. I think this will make you a lot. And I think this will save your business. And I think this will also make you very rich.
So we can help more people.
Yeah, because you can't help people if you're broke. The thing is that the education, I think long term, you might end up just giving it away for free, because people are coming from that group as well, I'm assuming, and then they buy your services. And that's why I'm not trying to attack this, because this is long-term lead entry for you. So where's this hosted?
Kajabi.
Kajabi. Well, there's your first mistake.
I knew it.
No, but if you were to do it on school, there's a couple benefits. The biggest one is that we have more active users than any other platform, and community platform. So like, you'll probably just get people coming into your community anyways. But you can also, every single person who gets into the group, you can offer a free onboarding call as a benefit of being in the community. And then you can use those as setting calls to either triage them to services or just refer them to free stuff.
Right, like instead of coming from YouTube, it would come from the school and then.
Think about it like this. This is actually a really good visual. So your old way, let's do this in red because Michael loves colors.
Love colors too, Michael.
So old way is this. You had one source of eyeballs, right? And you were splitting it between 3 different places. The new way is you now have 3 different sources of eyeballs, and you're forcing all of them through the most efficient monetization vehicle. So you've got your YouTube, you've got your Instagram, and then you've got your group. And all 3 of those are pushing to the one thing that we know makes you the most money, that also people want. And we're pricing it in a way that actually makes you money.
And the question would be, so we would create from the Instagram, from the DM or the WhatsApp, we would create a calendar link. They'll go there. They'll get the initial consultation for free. It's going to be.
But to be clear, it's not a consultation.
No,
it's a sales call.
Yeah, it's a sales call.
Yes.
Then from there, once they schedule the call, they go to a VSL to prepare them.
Yes. Yeah. Before the call.
Before the call, to prepare them and their expectations and everything. Then on the sales call, we will identify whether we can sell them our services, or if not, downsell them to our course.
Exactly.
Right. So our core offer is the results, right? The outcome. That's our core offer.
Yeah.
And that outcome, it's based on your specific need and our ability to fulfill that. But we're not saying when people are coming to us because we're lawyers in this specific niche, we don't have to talk about specific outcomes.
No, not like you getting signed with a record label. No. We're going to do the work to prepare you for that. You're still going to have to do that on your own. And then when that deal comes, we ask for 5%. And the reason we do that is because it makes it affordable for you at $5,800. If we didn't charge the percentage, and if you're like, oh, I don't want to pay that percentage, then you can pay us $25,000. So we'll do $25,000 without the percentage, or we'll do $5,800 with the percentage.
Got it. And then
you think that also gives you very nice pricing?
Yeah, it makes sense because the percentage right now, the last 2 deals, the average has been like 40 something K.
Okay.
And the lead magnet would be the sales call.
Yeah, I want to just do this as the easiest, like, what is the easiest thing that I can do to immediately fix this business and make it profitable?
Okay.
If we wanted to add something else, we could, but I just don't want to right now.
Okay.
We're going from spraying the traffic all over the place into places that lose money to pointing 3 different places to the one place that makes money and doing more of what already works. And we're just going to add a little bit of qualification, add a little VSL, fix the pricing, and then we're also going to route all the new followers that come there too. So you're going to have you will likely have a lot of opportunities. So you'll likely be taking 8, 10, 12 sales calls a day.
Okay. And
which is a good thing.
so it's great. And I have 3 people that can actually do that with me. So if everyone has their own calendar link, as you explain in your book, then okay. I have a book from the best-selling author in Spanish in this niche.
Right.
Where do you see that fitting in? Maybe that's a lead magnet, like giving it out for free like you do? Because they usually become super fans, like.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Or is that just another?
So there's a couple so there's, I'd say like right off the top of my head, there's 2 places that we could, like if you wanted to use it now, I would say that you could give to people who are unqualified. If you don't think you could, like if you look at somebody's profile and you don't think they look like, I mean, you could probably tell if somebody's not qualified. You could say, hey, it doesn't look like you're ready for our level of services, but because I want to invest in the relationship long term, here's a copy of my book. I think that would be a very elegant way to not overly complexify what already will work. Long term, we could start using it as a way that we would drive traffic in the future, and then you could have a call team call the people who bought the book, and then see if they want more help, and then you could basically bring. All we would do is we add it to another circle. Well, right now you have 3 more than sufficient traffic sources that you were just wildly monetizing, and we just need to fix that.
Okay. And the last question would be, um, on the software side,
Yeah.
because the product roadmap is almost finished entirely with all of the features that the companies are looking for.
Yeah.
If I'm not investing any energy on that, I want to know.
I'll believe that when I see it. Okay.
So if I'm not, suppose I'm not spending energy.
In a world that doesn't exist, yes.
Yeah, suppose that in fantasy land. Is there a way that we can create like a sunset period where we would say, okay, I'm gonna give the team X amount of time to roll out all of the features that these companies that are saying I want to use it, I'm gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, $15,000-$25,000 per year for the software. Is there a way to create that while we are focusing on this?
So at the very beginning, I said like, what do you want, right? And so we had to fix making this make money because you're going to run out of money.
Yes.
And so we have to solve that. The thing that makes me hesitate with the software is the amount of work, the amount of expertise it takes to make software really work is really high. And so I would be more inclined to say like, if you have some of these big companies, you might just give them the software. Or have them just say like, you're like, hey, instead of $25,000 a year, if you just pay me $100,000 or pay me $200,000, I'll just give you the whole thing. And that's basically you getting it at cost and saving 2 years. And then you can focus on this.
Got it.
That's of course if you want to make money.
Of course. No, I understand. I just want to have like a different scenarios.
Yeah, I mean the alternative scenario is that you burn the education, you burn the services to the ground, you go all in on the software, and you need to be able to fund that loss for a while and then actually build it right.
No.
That doesn't seem like that's too more fantasy than reality. Then you learned a ton of lessons, which is fine. Everybody just gets better from learning, and you build a really good business, which I think you have all the makings. You literally have everything in place. They were just organized well. That's the good news. It's like we don't have to build anything. We just have to take what we already had, redirect it through a better monetization vehicle, and that's it. And so this is the first step. We add traffic here as the second step, and then we'll add the book as the third step later. But for now, you just need to do step 1 and step 2. We have enough leads to probably fill up your calendar plus one other person, maybe 2. And if you have 3 people selling full time and you have a $6,000 thing, you could be at $18,000 a day, $30,000 a day, $50,000 a day. And the next problem that's going to hit you is that you're not going to have the team to actually deliver on this stuff, which will cross later. But that's what this is going to do. This is going to break the business, but you'll be making money. And then we'll take that money that we're making, and then we'll solve the thing that's broken, which is that we're going to hire more abogados.
So we're getting
Spanish for lawyer.
Estás dando, estás metiendo.
Yeah.
You're doing it right. So I'm giving you a little Puerto Rican Spanish there.
Puerto Riqueño.
Exacto. So our constraint right now on your framework, on the scaling workshop,
Is demand.
is demand.
Yeah.
Because we're not only starting and stopping, but also we're not directing them through the proper channels.
And you were mispriced. So I have my little moniker for the 6 big mistakes that small business owners make. So let's make those in red. And I think you were making almost all of them, which is great.
The good thing is it's only up from here.
Yeah. So you were selling to too many different avatars. So that's number 1. Focus, which is that you had more than one business. So you were hitting that one. You're hitting this one. You weren't so over expansion, which I will not say that you were wrong because we put it under focus. I'll give you a neutral on that one.
Put it there to be aware.
Then we have compensation. So it's are you overpaying your people? Which right now I don't get that impression. Underpriced, which you were, or mispriced. So you had that one. And then this one is single product. So that's when somebody has a front end and a back end, which I'll say that you had kind of like a half issue. We had the $250 per hour service fee, but we didn't have that kind of percentage win rate yet, and it wasn't part of a standard offer. So I'll say that you had like a little mini X there. But the good news is that these are the mistakes that most small business owners make, and it's normal, and it's okay, and that's why we're fixing it.
And the next phase is to have a timeline, or at least to be aware of our next phase will be do this until we get to $1 million per month. Is that your...
I don't know if you get to $1 million a month from this. You will certainly make a lot more than you are now, and the next thing that's going to break is you're going to run out of it. So the next issue you're going to run into is supply constraint. I actually think you have probably more demand. Like, you will not be able to sell through the demand that you already have without expanding supply. But if we completely utilize your existing supply of work that you could do at the appropriate price, you could absolutely make this into a multi-million-dollar business.
Yeah, it's just becoming a law firm, you know, a bigger law firm.
Yeah, and a specialized law firm, which is good. So you have that niche down. You have a very specific niche, and there's nice thing is that there's a lot of people who want this service, and the price point that we're charging is an appropriate price for somebody who's wanting to make a bet on themselves in their career. You have to make an investment, just like you do. They have to make an investment too.
Yeah, and that number is that the $5,000. Is that for any type of outcome? Would
No,
you say
so
that?
I mean, you'll know this better than I do, but I just want to make sure that
The average ticket.
I want to make sure that I'm running at least 80% gross margins for service minimum. So your actual cost on this should be, let's see, you should be less than, call it like $1,200, or I'll say that. So if you're less than $1,100 in terms of total cost
To
deliver that, then you charge $50. And so I'm guessing your man hours are going to cost you less. I mean, I don't know what you pay your lawyers, but let's say it's $100 an hour. If it's less than 11 hours to do it, then you're good to go. And if they do it in 5, maybe.
Okay. So if I've had the cost, for example, a lawyer cost me X amount per month, now I know that I need to be making
5 times more.
5 times more.
Minimum.
Okay.
And that may sound crazy to anybody who's listening to this who doesn't have a business, but let me show you a visual. So good. So good.
This is great.
People say, let's imagine we have $100 of revenue. Right, to keep it simple. If you have a 20% 20% cost, but 80% gross margin business, then it's like, cool. So we already have $20 gone, so we have $80 left. But we're still going to have marketing that we got to spend. We're going to still have admin costs, people who are scheduling and all that stuff. We have sales that we're going to have to pay on top of that, and that's going to be the majority for this business because the labor is going to be here, right, in terms of your cost of goods. And so maybe all of these things cost 60%. Right. So then we still have a 20% margin in the business. But that sounds greedy when you're like, oh my God, there's 80. It's like, yeah, we got to do all the other costs off at 80. And then whatever's left is our profit. Now, hopefully, you can run this thing at 30, right? And then you have a 50% margin, which would be wonderful. So all in all, we went from sad face
to
smiley face. Did it?
Great. I was aware that services was the play. When we focused on services this year and we're already making way more money. But that was...
We're to 4x the business just by focusing on that one thing.
Yeah.
And that's with still having the distraction. Like, you absolutely can be at multiple millions a year. Like, no question. Given the fact that you have a 90,000 YouTube following, you have a 23,000 person Instagram following, you have a community of people who love you and are raving fans. You have all of the foundation. So the good news is that all the work that you spent doing over the last however many years was not wasted. You just didn't monetize it well, and the good news is you can do it now. So, no big deal.
What's the role of, for example, now that you're getting invitations to go and speak to other countries? What do you think about that from the focus side? Is that something for distribution? Like, because if no other lawyers are doing that, no other lawyers are publishing their books, is that something that we can use to differentiate from other, particularly in service-based businesses?
It's a good question. It's a tough call. And the reason for that is that it's for sure a long-term investment to speak on stages and things like that. The thing is that you're currently not demand constrained. So you speaking on stages will just generate more demand that you can't handle. Let's play it out the other way. If you speak on stages and you take your eye off the ball in the business, you lose. If you focus on the business and you continue to grow the firm, the stage will still be there because you'll just be big.
So that is why maybe the counter argument would be, if you want us to go to the stage, you have to pay us an amount that is worth it.
If you know that you generate 3 sales a day at $6,000 when you're there and it takes you 2 days, then your speaking fee is $36,000 plus travel.
Exactly. You already have the number because you have it on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and also to be fair, the opportunity cost isn't just what money you would have made, but also the focus and distraction that takes away.
Oh my God.
So there's hard costs and soft costs. The hard cost is you really just won't make these 6 sales. The soft cost is what else would you have done in between and then not had to do with any of this hassle.
Perfect.
Will you do this?
Yes.
All right. Deal. Done. 13 lessons I learned after graduating college from the real world that I wish I had learned earlier. The first is that you make better decisions and you learn more by assuming that you're dumber than everyone else. The reason this was something that took me a long time to learn is that when I was in college, it was all about showing how smart you were. It was about talking more in the group meetings, about raising your hand more in the classroom. I took that and started translating in the real world, and I realized that I didn't learn very much because I was the one talking all the time. And it only took a few times of me getting introduced to somebody, someone would introduce us, and I would basically spend the whole time blabbering on about how great I was and how much I knew, only to find out later that this person was way above me in business and whatever things that I was pursuing at the time. And then I felt tons of shame and embarrassment about how stupid I was for doing that. I had to shift the way that I talked to new people and the way that I entered rooms, and I'm real, I still have to help. But at least being aware of that lesson as early as we could, I wish I had learned earlier. Fundamentally, you can't learn if you're talking. And so if you're trying to learn, then not talking is the first requisite for doing. And if you want to make better decisions, then you need to learn. This was a big epiphany I had. I got introduced once to somebody. I was walking peripherally after I left, and somebody else went up to him. He was like, "Do you know who that guy is?" And in that moment, I realized that my positioning was now sky high because I didn't have to be the one to say it. The idea that I realized was, how can I get other people to edify me? Because what I had to allow people to do was to make the same mistake that I used to make, which is that someone young, someone inexperienced, someone less aware, whatever, would come up and then start posturing themselves, blathering on about everything that they're doing. And me, I might be way ahead of them, but I would listen and see if there's anything interesting. And so on that conversation, I learned more than they did. I learned what type of person they are. I learned where they're at with their career. And if they had anything interesting, that would be worth following up on. They learned nothing. They felt good about themselves. And then later would feel bad about themselves when that other person went over and told them. And so I was like, of these two scenarios, which would I rather do? Would I rather have someone have a conversation with me and then not know who I was, but be able to learn? Because that's the worst case scenario. Or would I rather blather on, learn nothing? Either I am above them, and then they're like, well, fuck that guy who brags, or I'm below them, and I'm the moron. So I stopped doing that. That was lesson number one. Lesson number two was that the hardest respect to earn is one's own. What I realized, and this was something that was really hard for me, is that I had a pretty bad reputation at the very beginning of my college career and all of my high school career. It was because I drank too much, I was irresponsible, I slept around a lot, and I wasn't representing the type of person that I wanted to be. And so I felt ashamed of the behaviors that I did, but I didn't change them. And so it was only through a conversation I had with my father where I said, how do I change my reputation? How do I get these people to stop saying this stuff? And I thought there was some like PR marketing angle that I could take, that I could control the narrative. And he said, why don't you stop being a piece of shit? And he said that in his own words. And I was like, that can't be it. I'll figure out a way. When parents talk to kids, they're listening, they're not listening. That really stuck with me and I started thinking about it. And so I said, like, well, if I wanted to be somebody who's respectful, what would I do? And so then I tried to start acting in that way, to be someone whose respect my own I would earn. And so when I started doing that, nothing changed externally. People still treated me like I was a piece of shit, and they were probably right. But my behavior began to change, and then slowly, so did my reputation. But it started with me trying to respect myself first, and then others began to respect me as a result. If you want to control what people think, control what they say. This is the third lesson I learned, and this is more of a business/marketing lesson. But if you want to talk about products and services, you have to equip people with the words to describe what you have. Because otherwise you're asking them to solve the problem of how to describe your business. And if right now you can't even figure out how you're going to describe your business and you own the darn thing, how do you expect them to do it in a half second with telling a friend? And so this is really about equipping people with simple language so they can communicate what you do. So for example, at acquisition.com, the mission when I started the business was to document and share the best practices in world-class business. Most people don't know what that means. And so I have now, and we probably will shift the language to make real business education available to everyone. They functionally mean the same thing. But giving people the words to describe it in a way that they understand allows me to give them words that they can explain to somebody else. You get more out of reading one book, that's great, 5 times, than out of reading 5 mediocre books. I don't read many books. And what I mean by that is I buy lots of books. I skim most of them and quickly realize that it's not worth reading. And so then I toss them aside, because just because someone wrote a book doesn't mean you can finish it. It has nothing to do with you, and you can did it as well. I have found that books that are older in general tend to be better because the reason the person wrote it was a different intention. They wrote it because they wanted to transmit knowledge to the next generation. Whereas the people who write books now are either writing for money, writing for notoriety, or writing to sell other shit. If you find books where the author is actually writing because they want to convey knowledge to the next generation, those tend to be better books in my experience, because the intent is to actually teach, not to persuade. Slight difference. when you do find those gems, I have realized that if I read something once, end to end, I still don't know it. I will read a book 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times until I can teach the book when I feel like it is worth learning. And then once I have like squeezed the book for everything that it has to the point where I can convey the message to somebody else, like I can teach the concept of the book, which is something that I've done many times. I'll actually make a presentation on the book so that I can wrap my own framework around how I can remember it. That's where a lot of these frameworks come from, is because it's me trying to make sense of the world in a way that I can remember. If your behavior doesn't change as a result of reading a book, then it means you've learned nothing, which means it was a waste of time. And many people who read books are just wasting their time because their behavior doesn't change. And so I consolidate with that, find something that's good, I plug everything I possibly can into it and suck the juice out of it so that I can change my behavior as a result, which comes from the frameworks and how I think about it. How deeply do you understand the knowledge of a book? There's a handful of books that if you just did them for the rest of your life, you would. Because if you just did How to Make Friends and Influence People and you put it into your DNA, you would be successful. Number 5 is that most champions do not have something that you do not. They lack something that you have. It's a different thought process. Because if all of us have the exact same hours per day, it means that they're allocating their time differently. Many times, they eliminate things that you are still doing. They have sacrificed more, and they have given up things that you have continued to have on your tree as branches that are distracting from growing. Champions, when I look at the people who are further ahead of me, even more ruthless with their time. They even have lower tolerance for friends, families, people around them that are not at the bar that they hold themselves to. For me, going through college was, when I was younger, I always thought it was about adding to the plate, saying yes to everything, saying yes to opportunities, say yes, say yes, yes. When all I did was I just completely got distracted and spread super thin. What most champions have is singular focus, and they're willing to say no to everything. And that took me too long to learn. 6 is that goodwill compounds faster than money. Like if you actually think about what goodwill is, it's that you have positive sentiment and you have a degree of influence over a person's behavior. That's what goodwill is. If one person has goodwill with you and then shares your stuff with somebody else and you create goodwill in that next person, you can double your goodwill or 10x your goodwill in a matter of 12 weeks. 10xing your money in a matter of 12 weeks is very, very unlikely. Goodwill, because it's based on audiences and humans, can compound significantly faster than money. And when I realized that goodwill could be translated into money, if I so desired at a given date, then I realized that rather than focusing on the money that I'm trying to make today, why don't I focus on the compounding vehicle that compounds at a much faster rate than money does, that compounds tax-free, by the way. Building the audience is tax-free, and then when you choose to have the conversion